What's up everyone? It's Carpo here, and I'm just going to dive right in, because sometimes I sit and contemplate making a video like this and I think, what do I know about photography? What do I have to inform people about how to take good photos? I want you to step back for a minute and think about what it means to be a photographer. When you say, I'm a photographer, even if you're not, what kind of an image does that put in your mind? Is that like a pompous type remark from a person who feels like they're not good enough at taking photos because you feel like you just can't get, there's no way you could be like the professionals because they spend all this time using Photoshop and all this post-processing. How could I ever be a photographer? I want to put it simple. Photography is based in what pictures you take. Being a good photographer has nothing to do at all with how good you are at editing it after you take the picture. Let me repeat that. Nothing at all to do with that. Being a photographer, in my opinion, means you're good at taking photographs. If you're a good processor, then you're good at editing photographs. And I'm not going to get into the details of what that means. It's not supposed to offend anyone who does post-processing. What it is designed to do is inspire anybody who feels like they don't want to really go out and try to take good photos because they don't have the right equipment, they don't have the right gear, they don't know how to edit. None of that matters. And I will post some of my pictures at the end of this video, which I've posted pictures in the past, but not after making such an arrogant statement as anyone can be a photographer. But I wanted to go over some of the gear that I have very briefly, but mostly I wanted to talk about lighting in this video. But there's no way that I could talk about a video about lighting without talking about the other aspects of photography. Now, this right here is just my basic case. I think I got this at Goodwill, and I cut out all the slots I needed. But my point being, you don't need all these things. I bought, these alpha lenses, or what is it? Sigma lenses, Vivitar, and all these adapters for my micro 4/3 camera, which I'm using here. I even retrofitted one of these old Minolta lenses to use as a macro photography lens. I've got all these little parts to use with my telescope out there. A piece of crap, well, it was actually pretty good at one time, a little mini tripod, right, that I had to epoxy open because it started breaking. And my point here is I am a budget photographer, and a lot of you are too. And so I'm trying to reach out to the people who think they can't afford to take photos. The camera I'm using now is a Lumix G3. It's a pretty decent, but I'd really rather have a GH3 or something that's way better. And I'm going to get to the lighting part here. This is my secondary bag, my basic carry bag, which has my other Sigma lens. And all of the lenses I use are manual focus, except the one I'm using right now, which is autofocus. And I only use it for videos because it's a 14 to 42, so it has a 14 millimeter really wide lens, so I can sit close to it and use the microphone on it. But here's my favorite part of this video and why I wanted to really make one about cameras. Lighting is one of the trickiest things, and I like to do macro photography. So I probably should have done this video with my other camera so you could see the one that I'm filming on, which is what I'm talking about, but there's a bar that comes out and it's got a handle on it and a little accessory mount on it, right? Well, on the top of that I can mount this, which is a just simple, old school Minolta flash, right? And there's remote flashes and all different types of things you can buy. The flash is one thing, but this is where it gets fun for me, is with the adapter. Now the adapter gives me a few feet to stretch my flash wherever I need it and take macro photos. And I have a point to that. Sometimes flash isn't what you want. You just want to illuminate a subject. And the reason this came to mind is because I've been watching a lot of different YouTube videos of people exploring abandoned mines, mansions, whatever. And they always have these lights. And this one, I wanted to order some lighting for just general YouTube videos. So I ordered these. Now, I'm not going to talk about brand names because I don't want to sponsor any brands because they didn't sponsor me. So, of course, if any brand out there wants to sponsor me, feel free and I'll see if your product's worthy. But these little things come with several different filters. There was like, I think a red, a blue, and then kind of a this kind of amber filter for it. When I bought these, I bought 2 of them. It was a 2-pack. And I thought that, well, this must fit on some sort of a camera thing that I'm not aware of. Like, maybe this is a tripod fitting that locks it in and then it powers it from there. I feel like an idiot when 2 days later I went, oh, wait, and this pulled out. Oh, it's a tripod. And so these work pretty great, except for, and they also have even a little simple extension, which I never use because it doesn't hold for crap. But the point is, I bought these to put one on each side of me for lighting, and some of the videos I've done recently, I've used them. I've had to epoxy this 3 times in the last 2 months because of my own user error dropping it, but they're not exactly stable, but they work really well. And as you can see, they're fairly bright. And the only disadvantage to these is that they're too bright, and you have to put them far away. I finally ordered the other day on something on Amazon, which I have mounted on my camera. I'm going to show it to you right now by taking it off, because it's on my accessory mount. Now this is my exciting new light. This has magnetic covers, and it comes with several different covers. I think it was 25 or 30 bucks. There's red, blue, and green filters. But here's one of the coolest things about this. Now, this has a little LCD panel on the back, or LED panel, and it allows you to push the button. I'll show you here. So it has the kelvins. So if you push that button, you can turn it down to 3,300 kelvins. That's warmer, right? So when you're talking about kelvins, you're talking about the warmth, or how more red than white, rather. So if you turn it up here all the way up to its max, 5,600, then it's much whiter or closer to natural light. Push the button again, and then it gets you to the percentage. Now this is at 26% right now. If you crank it up, it gets so damn bright. Ridiculously bright. I mean, who knows how that'll look on the camera, it doesn't matter. I keep it down at least like 30%. And here's the thing, you see the kelvins? So it's really cool right now. You turn it, it gets warmer. And then it goes to different LEDs with a different tone. And so here's the big advantage to these things. When I saw that it came with NP5500, I think it is, battery. What is it? These are the standard battery packs. It's an NP F550 7.4 volt battery pack. These are the kind that come with the old Sony camcorders. And it just so happens I've got like 5 of these batteries. So I was like, okay, I'm definitely getting that. So it's just got its basic on-off button, a charging port, or a, you know, whatever. You can also use it to power without you having a battery. And the little LCD screen tells you the kelvins and the percentage. And then of course it comes with this mounting, you know, accessory, which I can mount right up on the top of my camera. Or you can use it in a hot shoe mount, or you can just use it on the top of pretty much, I would assume, just about any camera. Here we go. Let's turn it down. Back down to 20%. Alright. Pretty cool little thing. So I've got several little batteries. I think that's about all I was going to say about that thing. I just had to show it because some of the videos I watch on YouTube of people exploring, I think, what kind of batteries do they have? What kind of a camera do they have? So having 3 of these, keeping that at 20%, I have no idea how long it would last. But I'm just going to guess that I have several hours worth of battery life that I could explore with at night. And I even found another one that is like a sensor, a night sensor, an infrared, so I could use that camping, and my camera's set up to film when it turns on. The light will turn on and maybe film animals, I don't know. Taking photos to me is something that is, it's not about, and this is where I'm going to finalize this, it's not about how professional you are in the sense of how much money are you making. If you look at how good you are at taking photos as how much money you make off of them, you're missing the whole point. Taking photos, in order to get rich off of taking photos, you have to realize that the richness comes from within. You can say that's cheesy, or, you know, that, well, it's the starving artist syndrome. No, if you really enjoy taking photos, you will have a passion and an excitement of looking at those photos and sharing them. I've looked at my own photos over and over, and I just love some of them. But I also feel awkward because I think, well, there's other people who go out and they take photo classes and they have these really nice cameras. Then I started listening to some of the professionals who say, you don't need all that shit. If you can't take a good photo with a basic camera, you can't take a good photo at all. And some of the best photos I have are, those moments where you just catch that right moment, if you're always prepared to take a photo. And yes, you can use your cell phone, but for me, having a separate dedicated camera means that I'm separately dedicated to taking a quality photo. So, anyway, those are my thoughts on a few lights, and a few different thoughts on pretty much just cameras in general. I have a lot of lenses, a lot of random things, but none of them really matter, except for my basic lens, the 1442 I'm using right here that came with the camera. And pretty much the only other one that I use that I really like is this little pancake lens right here. And this is only for micro four third camera users, but it's an old Minolta MD Rocore X 45mm 1:2 lens. This thing, everything's manual about it. It takes phenomenal pictures, but it has a far focal range. And you don't need much, is the point. You see these dudes with these monstrous lenses. Yeah, I've got a huge telephoto lens, but you don't always need that. You just got to get right up in the subject sometimes. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble on. I'll show you some of my photos. Tell me what you think about them, and hey, if they suck, they suck. Be well. Have some faith in yourself. You can take amazing photos with a basic camera, even a cell phone. Take care.